Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the best games released in the last decade or so, and some of the smartest things that it pulls off are not immediately apparent. There's a lot of really smart stuff that goes into the design of this game, and I just wanted to point out some of the coolest decisions that the developers made and some of the smartest decisions in its design that make it as good as it is. So I'm Mugthief, also known as Knockoff Adrian Pimento, and here are 5 things that make Cyberpunk even better than you realize. But before that, a brief word from our sponsor. Dungeon Hunter 6, which is of course the 6th entry in the long-running series. Dungeon Hunter 6 is a fast-paced hack-and-slash ARPG for mobile that features a unique twist. It has a hero collector feature where the bosses that you take down, not only can you use them as mounts, but you can also summon up to 3 of them in battle and even transform into them once you reach the late game. It's free to play, and if you want to try it out, you can do so using the link in the description or this QR code I have over here. The game features over 100 uniquely designed bosses for you to collect and use in combat, including all of their combo skills, and it gets new classes and bosses with its monthly updates, making sure that you always have a new combination to try out when you go out into battle. The game has been carefully optimized for mobile systems so that even though it looks fantastic and has some amazing skill animations, it'll run fantastic on no matter what you play it. It also features multiplayer where you can team up with your guild and fight in real-time guild wars, a large variety of skill tree options for your skill expression, and even a trading system through the in-game auction house. And you can try it out completely for free using the link in the description or the QR code. And if you want to support me, you can use my link to get a free starter pack valued at $50, including 10 summoning scrolls, 1 SSR unit, which is the demonic wolf, and an accessory pack. And once you are in-game, you can use your in-game account to participate in the Lucky Spin event, which you can participate in for free to win fantastic prizes like an iPhone 15 Pro Max or an Apple Watch or a PS5. So thank you once again to Dungeon Hunter 6 for sponsoring this video. The first thing to point out is about its writing. And it's not just that the writing is amazing, it's that writing goes way beyond simply writing dialogue and performing it. Writing goes into things like the quest design as well. And that's where I think Cyberpunk does something truly special that I've only seen done in other very, very good games. And that's how it uses its writing to pace important moments in the game. A lot of the quests in the game have a very steady build-up to them. This is something that I remember noting a lot as well in Red Dead Redemption, both 1 and 2, where you have a quest line or a series of missions that slowly build up to the climax. And the game is not afraid to slow down and have extended periods of conversation or just driving to a location with dialogue in the middle, and then some smaller confrontations that contextualize what is the bigger picture before throwing you into a big finale. It manages to do this even in side quests, and that takes not only a lot of talent but a lot of restraint to slowly build something up so that it's that much more impactful. In a time where I think most games that go for this style tend to jump from set piece to set piece, not letting that story breathe and take shape as you progress, it's something to really praise. Additionally, in the case of Cyberpunk, if you wanted to space those things out even more, you could by taking on other activities or doing other quest lines, but sometimes the game even forces you to wait with things like wait for 24 hours until you receive a call from this character to progress that quest line, making it very clear that they want to build this up in a way that's going to be satisfying for you at the payoff. The second really smart decision is regarding balance and your builds. In other games, it's very common for there to be a best build. And that is also true in Cyberpunk. There are some builds that are just better or easier to execute rather. But Cyberpunk, and this extends to most of the game's design, understands that its mission is definitely style over substance. And by having better builds than others or limiting the effectiveness of a certain build, you're not going to give the player the fantasy that they want of being a borderline cyber psycho in that specific discipline. The solution to this problem is fairly easy. Just make every build overpowered, and that's what it does. While getting footage for an upcoming project, I downloaded the mod that lets you respec at any time, and really, just replaying the same scenarios with different builds, you never feel like you're underpowered or like one was that much better than a different one. And that's really smart, because as a player, you know that it doesn't matter what you choose, it's not going to affect your outcome in the game. It's simply a different flavor of the power fantasy that you want to play as. And the diversity in those builds is also something really important. Thanks to the 2.0 update, or as far as I understand, I didn't really play the full game before it, the variety goes from melee in blunt to melee with blades to throwing weapons to hacking a lot to being a sharpshooter and or a specialist in explosives, and all of that can further be customized with your weapon implants and what cyberware you use between the Berserk, the Sandevistan, or just your regular cyber deck. Having all of those things all be viable means that a player can choose whatever they want to fully express themselves and chase down the fantasy that they want to live through without having to worry about if it will be strong enough to get through certain portions of the game. The third is how smart the game is in tying its story, its progression, and its economy all in one. Because this story is essentially a rags to riches mob story, the slow progress as you climb to the top makes a lot of sense in the way that you progress and level up as V. But that wouldn't be enough to sell that rags to riches story or to motivate you into those level ups. Eddies, the game's currency, is a really important part of everything in society, and that is true for gameplay as well. As you progress through the story and as the stakes are raised, the amount of money that you will obtain from the jobs that you do and the side quests that you engage on will also increase, as well as the drops from enemies. And in this game, it makes a lot of sense because a lot of your core progression is tied into decking yourself out with excellent cyberware, and that is going to cost you a pretty penny. While other things like weapons are very easy to come by from drops or just looting, cyberware is very rare, so you're going to have to spend a pretty penny at the Ripper Dock for implants, even just things like armor, that are going to define your playstyle even further with more customization, but also give you base stats that you really need as the game progresses. Coming from other games where the economy is a joke and you never ever have to go visit a shop, it's refreshing to see how in-universe it makes sense that you want to chase down some extra cash, because it's really important to take the time to go to a Ripper Dock and fully fit yourself out before you embark on your next big quest line. Your opponents are also more decked out, so it makes sense that you need more cash to deck yourself out better to take out those enemies. And it's really smart and made me feel like it was a natural progression throughout the entire story. The fourth is having a very defined protagonist that still has room for your own expression and for you to kind of design him a little bit more in the ways that you would like. V is, by all accounts, his or her own character. I think, in my eyes, even more than Commander Shepard from the Mass Effect series. I wasn't sure that was going to be the case when I jumped into the game, or if this was going to be more of a Fallout 4 situation where they are a voiced protagonist, but you really are supposed to dictate who they are from a blank slate. And that is not the case. Much like Geralt in The Witcher, V feels like they know what they want and they have some things that are set in stone with a strong personality. And that could cause a big disconnect for the player if they want that role-playing element. But while not perfect, there's a lot of effort put into making V just moldable enough for it to not break your immersion. Not only do the skills that you choose and the skill checks that you can access, as well as your initial background that you choose at the start of the game, have a lot of impact in a lot of different missions, but especially during the side quests, you can define V a little bit more just for your headcanon as a really nice, sweet, sympathetic guy, or more of a stoic, violent person. It really comes down to you, and that won't clash very heavily with how things are written in the main story once you get back onto a more scripted path. That required a lot of thinking and foresight to actually make happen, and when I started to realize how it was actually working, I was kind of blown away. Because while it is still definitely a character, it does go really far in trying to give the player as much freedom to, like I said, just edge V more or less in one direction or another, so they fit better with what you would like them to be without breaking anything else in the process. It also helps that V is very well written and very well voiced on both sides, so as long as you're not going into the game thinking that they're a blank slate, I think they end up being a really likable character, and the game gives you that option of kind of sharpening up the edges from time to time to make them fit more into what you would like. And for number 5, and this one's more of just a personal bone I have to pick, and that's the performance of Keanu Reeves. I've seen a lot of people say that Keanu's performance in Cyberpunk 2077 is not good, and that the only reason he's there is for the star power of John Wick or Neo or from wherever you know him. But I strongly disagree. I think Keanu Reeves' performance here is exceptional. Could it have been done by a different actor, one more common in the video game space? Sure, yes, it could have been done, but I think Keanu brings something special to it. He brings a lot of character to Johnny Silverhand, and if anything, Keanu does a really impressive job with a tremendously difficult character. Johnny Silverhand is not somebody you like. Right from the start, he is one of the most unlikable characters imaginable. Just on his own, he's a selfish piece of crap, and you do not like him or what he has done. He's a narcissist that thinks he's better than everybody else, on top of being just a little bit too edgy and cringy in his revolutionary ways. So not only is he just an unlikable piece of trash, but you're stuck with him at the start, whether you like it or not. And Keanu's role here is to stay true to the values of Johnny Silverhand while slowly opening up, becoming vulnerable, understanding how trash he has been, and asking for a second chance at life when he's one of the people that least deserves it. The fact that he can go through that transformation, and at some pivotal points in the story, you'll think, man, Johnny, you're not that bad, I kinda care for you, is a testament to how well he can sell such a complex character with so many different shades throughout. From a narcissistic hellraiser to a snarky smartass that you can't help but laugh at his jokes, all the way back to a vulnerable person that you care about. So yeah, Keanu Reeves, that was a good job right there. I will talk more about Idris Elba's performance, but I'll do that in my full dedicated video essay to Cyberpunk 2077, which should be coming out soon, TM. That's shaping up to be an excessively long video, and editing is taking a very long time, but if you want to see it, make sure to subscribe. And if this video made you think about something interesting or reconsider some of the systems that are in place in Cyberpunk 2077, remember to hit the like button. It's the best way to make this video reach more people. I thank all of you for your tremendous support, and I have a lot of great things to say about a lot of great games and a lot of other things to say about a lot of bad games coming up very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Mugthief, and I'll see you very soon.